Hi everyone and welcome to I Can Make That. This is Jen and I would like to show you today how to bring a stamped image or a digital stamp into Cricut Design Space and print and cut it. The first thing I'm going to do is open up Cricut Design Space and click on a new project. I have one here, it's untitled. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is go to Upload. You'll click on Upload Image, and you should have an image or a stamp that you already are ready to use somewhere saved on your computer. I have one, it's by Lily of the Valley. They're out of England. I love their stamps. And so I'm going to bring that one in. You can use any stamp. You can stamp an image on paper and then scan it and bring it in the same way. This is just your regular JPEG image. They're going to give you three choices: simple, moderately complex, and complex. In this case, I'm going to go with simple because there are no colors at all in this image. What I want to do is select this image, but you can see that, I'll blow this up a little more, you can see that everything is not closed. So if I try to select this, it's going to select everything. There's holes going through, and because of that, the image, it doesn't have a solid line all the way around it. It doesn't know what to select. So unfortunately, when you have something like this, you can go in and erase. It's going to take a while, but that's the one step. You can do that where you go in and you basically outline your image exactly where you want it to cut. And what I'm doing is I'm erasing this white background, and when I finish the whole image, there will be basically everything that I want left. You can go back in. You don't have to worry about doing everything in one click, which is nice. And you can change the size over here of how big or small you want that eraser to be. So if you do want to get into a finer area here like this, you can actually do that, and the machine will go in and cut around all these tiny pieces here. If you don't care that much, you can make it bigger and get less detail, but I figure that what would I do with my scissors? That's what I'm going to do with the eraser. And I would probably take my scissors and get in between all that, so I will let my machine do that work for me as well. Now I'll show you what happens if you were to select this magic eraser here and tell it to determine where the lines are. I'm going to click on this, and as you can see, it only left little spots here that are completely closed off, not to cut out. But anywhere that there was a break in the line, it's going to fill it all in because it doesn't know that it wants me to use that as a border. So you really can't do that for this. You can just go to undo, and I will go back to erasing. So now I've got most of this outlined, and I've moved my slider over to a very large circle, and I can go back in and quickly fill in everything. I'm going to basically outline the outer edge of the image and just go in and fill everything in. Now for the bottom area, because I'm going to leave the snow that she is standing on, I'm going to move this down to a little bit smaller circle, and I'm basically going to just go around the edge. So I just curved this a little bit here. That's how the machine will cut it. And now you can see I've got an outline going around my screen here at the bottom. I've outlined the bottom part here and up the side. Okay, so when I zoom out on my image, this looks pretty good. It looks like I've gotten in all the details I want. However, what you're going to need to do is zoom in a little bit more, and you're going to go to the bottom where it says Preview. Right there. So right here it says Preview. You're going to want to click on that, and it's going to show me all the little dots I missed. Now I've got some spots that you can see on the screen. Little tiny gray spots all over the place. And if I don't get rid of those, the machine is going to cut out of the paper every one of those little dots. So what I'm going to do is go back in with my eraser tool, make it a little bit smaller, go in and just click on all the dots. So here we are in preview again. And I want to get rid of those dots. And once I get rid of all the little junk that's on the screen, then I'll have a clean image to work with. So the next thing is to click on the continue button. Now it's going to bring up two options for me. It's got save as a print then cut or save as a cut image. Definitely save as print then cut. That's highlighted with green. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click save. Oh, before I hit save, up here I'm going to name my image. I'm going to name this one Happy Reindeer. And I'm actually going to put LOTV, that's Lily of the Valley. And then down here, I'm going to put some different tags. Christmas reindeer, that'll probably work. And then I'll hit save. Now it's going to pop up down here where I have my other images. So I'm going to click on uploaded and insert images. And here it is. And you can see it's very large. I don't need it to be that large, so I'm going to bring this down to a much smaller image. Now if I'm going to be doing this on paper that I want to use my Copic markers on, that's expensive paper, so I'm going to do a few of these at once. I'm going to go up and duplicate this image. As long as it'll fit on an 8.5 by 11, that will work. And I'm actually going to grab another image that I just did the same process on. Alright, so I just did this Christmas mouse, which was also by Lily of the Valley, to make sure it worked before I did a tutorial on it. Okay. And I'm going to do two of those as well. Okay, so I have my screen ready. I have my 4 images in, and they're already print then cut. You know that because you can see over here that they have the little print icon next to them. And I'm going to click make it. It's going to sort them into mats by color. And it doesn't like how big I made it, so I need to fix that because I want to cut these all on one sheet. So, I'll cancel. Okay, so I have my 4 images on one sheet, and now I'm going to go ahead and print that, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. In case you haven't done this before, you click on the continue button, and it brings up a image here that says send to printer. So I'm going to do that. Send to my printer. I want it to be on my laser jet. Okay, now wait till you see this. It looks awful, right? The first time I printed this, I thought, what happened? There's like all this black mark around everything, and what is this going to look like? So don't worry. The machine cuts this out really, really well, and I will demonstrate that. But first I need to go color these images because it's a lot easier to color them when they're still attached than once they get cut apart. Alright, so I've colored my images and now I'm going to tape this down to a mat. I say tape it down because I'm using a mat that is not very sticky. It's actually pretty worn out. And I'm just going to tape down the edges with some Scotch tape and then I'll run that through the machine. Ready, it says it's printed. Found my Bluetooth on my Cricut and I have my material set to light cardstock and it's ready to go. Ready? So here we go. And it's going to start finding the black line and then it will go in and cut. Now you can still see that the edges are really rough looking. There's all those dark lines and green splotches and things that are on there. I'm not sure the machine does that, but that's fine with me because it doesn't keep it when it cuts it out. I can show you that this one here, already cut out by the machine, does not have those edges. It cut it out exactly how I told it to. Alright, so I noticed when it cut out the last reindeer one that after it finished doing the main cut it's doing right now, it started doing a whole bunch of those tiny little dot cuts. And that is what happens when you don't get rid of all the excess stuff. Now, I thought I did, but I guess I needed to go in even more with that. And if I'd zoomed in more, maybe I would have seen some little spots. Okay, so you'll see now it's doing these tiny little cuts. Those are little cuts that it's making because I missed something. I'm not going to see it on the image when I'm done. It's just wasting time and dulling my blade down a little bit. Okay, so we have this all out of the Cricut now. Comes out easily. And there is none of that black around the edge. Did a good job cutting out super fine detail. Let me pull out this one. And you can see that it did a really good job of cutting out every little tiny black line. So I definitely could not have done a better job with my scissors. And yes, it takes a little bit of time to go in and get your image ready, but then you can do so many multiples of it. Color each one by hand, or you can even color it on the computer and then go through. But it really does save time in the end. Coming off my mat really nicely because I have an old mat that I use the Scotch tape on, therefore it comes right off because the mat isn't sticky. But you can see all the cutting edge. It's very, very nice. And in my next video I will show you what I do with these with a surprise box or a book. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do, but hopefully this helps you, and for how much money the little metal dies can cost to go through your Sizzix machine. If you own a Cricut machine already and you just take the time to prep your images or your stamps, you can save yourself a ton of time later and not have to buy dies, or you can do this for stamps that don't have dies that go with them. Thanks for watching.